Okay, so it seems like recently there's been a little bit of a situation going on with Kitsunero over on Twitter, right? And I've talked to Kitsu a few times, and of course she has been nothing but nice to me. And well, it seems like she got into a little bit of a situation with a artist in terms of a VGen, I think, commission that she took out and wasn't too happy with it. Now, essentially, there was a lot of things that happened. This post actually has a good kind of, what you call it, TLDR of what happened, because a lot of the original post ended up getting deleted. But she's been getting quite a bit of backlash for this, of course. And there has been, the message saying TLDR, she spent $350 on a Skeb design in hopes to receive a new usable outfit, but the design ended up being super niche, and I don't even like chocolate cake that much, and not being usable for a standalone design, maybe as a group project. Tried talking to the artist and even offered to pay for another revision, but they refused to work with me. So I already feel stupid because it's my own fault for wasting so much money. So if you could help out by liking and sharing, I would really appreciate it. And obviously then she deleted the post and said, in case anyone wondered, I did delete the tweets because people started to try and start stuff. First on my event post, then on the post saying that people are starting drama when there wasn't any form my part, then on the art post itself. The worst part is it's not even the artist complaining about it, it's some random people trying to grandstand, and I'm just tired. The artist and me talked about it privately, and that was that. People were nosy and inserted themselves. Either way, I'm sorry for all the confusion, and thank you to you guys who were understanding and supportive. And obviously there's been a lot of people commenting on this. One person that has been commenting on this quite a lot has been someone called Yomi, and they say, after reading the review, I genuinely feel sorry for the artist. They didn't deserve a 1-star review, because apparently they did get a 1-star review. Now that has changed. Now we will get into that obviously as the video goes on. But say everyone who wants things a specific way in the future, use this as a lesson. Don't go for Skeb artwork if you're going to go for something specific. Give Skeb designers specifics of the vibes you're going for. On top of that, only give a 1-star review if the product is genuinely bad, quality, rushed, the artist is incredibly rude, such refuse to cooperate, etc, etc. I felt sorry for Kitsu originally, but I don't anymore. I didn't even give one of my actual Skebs a bad review when they draw an entirely different character, because I signed up for Skeb. And obviously, a Skeb kind of commission usually means that the artist has a lot more freedom to do, whatever they want, right? And sometimes it can end up much different from what you are envisioning, and it's kind of different from a normal commission where, you are entitled to kind of tell them, no, that's wrong, actually, fix this and that, which I think is more understandable. But I think whenever it comes to a Skeb commission, you've got to sometimes accept the fact that it might not be exactly what you want it to be. And of course, Kitsu does say that she tried to ask for revisions, but they didn't want it. But again, it's just how it kind of goes, right? And again, I think leaving a 1-star review was definitely not exactly the smartest play, because obviously, as Yomi says that, I do think they're actually right in this, in saying, like, unless it is actually bad, they like gave you like a Microsoft Paint image, like a little like stick figure, and gave it to you and said, there you go, then of course that would obviously warrant like a 1-star. Or if they're incredibly rude or whatever, and are not cooperating at all, then of course I can understand a 1-star. But I think that if it's just something that you weren't specifically vibing with, that you didn't really like too much, I don't think it deserves a 1-star. Sure, you could maybe go for a 2-star or a 3-star or whatever, right? If you were really that unhappy with the design and whatever, but also it is the fact that it is a Skeb commission, which means that they have a lot more freedom to do what they want, right? So again, I do think a 1-star was also a little bit harsh, right? And there's been even more kind of comments on this as well. People saying, final post on the matter since Kitsunero VT is posting in a Discord that I'm just doing this to grandstand. You treated an artist horribly and tried to convince people that you were nice, sweet, and handled it wonderfully. I don't care how big you are. I called you out because I honestly felt bad for you originally. I even DM'd you, an artist who does beautiful work that you might have been able to work with. You posted the outfit, and I was curious of the other design that the artist did, and that's how I saw your review. I also saw the artist's response. You didn't handle this beautifully, you handled this horribly, like some overly entitled VTuber. You're generally an awful person and showed how manipulative you are with this. You can all decide for yourself on the matter, but I've said my point. I stood up for someone who deserved it, and I'll no doubt do it again in the future. Stop being a victim. You're not one. Everyone give love to the artist. Portfolio is honestly cute. And obviously, yeah, this is the post we looked at earlier, as well as I think this is a reply from the artist themselves saying, thank you for the feedback. As we privately discussed, you ordered a Skeb design commission from me. For the record, I also offer a non-Skeb style and a highly catered design commission. So they do commissions that are more like, you know, highly designed and much more like detailed and, you know, what someone wants more specifically, right? But this is not what you order from me. Skeb's already a discounted rate due to the lack of multiple drafts and revisions. So again, that's kind of like the whole point that they like with that is the fact that there is less kind of revisions and stuff. So it's easy for an artist just to quickly do it and do it at a cheaper rate because they don't have to worry about revisions or whatever, which obviously they didn't really want to work with, right? And obviously they continue to go on about this, saying, again, this goes directly against my very clear TOS that you agreed to and all of that kind of stuff. So again, you know, that's what a lot of people have been not too happy at Kitsu about. And I definitely do think that she did, you know, mess up in that kind of, you know, department, right? And then Kitsu did actually respond by saying, I'd like to say I believe in taking accountability, which is why I apologized to the artist directly and requested VGen to change my 1-star review to a 3-star review. And I think that's fair enough, right? I think a 3-star review, if you're unhappy with it still, but it's not like, you know, it's not terrible. It's not like they've handed you nothing. I think that 3-star is fair enough if that's really how you feel about it, right? They said, I've been very emotional and stressed due to me being in the middle of moving to another country and other personal reasons. Not trying to excuse myself, but rather explain myself. I'd also like to say that there's been a lot of stories being spun around my name, screenshots of my Discord being cut out of context, and general misinformation being spread around. If need be, I can go in depth on any of these once I'm back to regular streaming. Thanks and have a wonderful day. And obviously said there's honestly a lot more I could go into with this entire situation, but as mentioned, I am in the middle of moving and do not really have the time to currently nor the energy. And obviously, you know, Vixie is saying, love you, girlie. People need to understand that we're not perfect and that clearly things turn out badly. Things come to light on social media where the voices of the people involved versus the people who insert themselves as toxic AF. You can't win if no one wants to listen and would rather believe their own stories than hear the truth. You apologized. You guys talked it out. That's the main thing. Ignore the loud idiots because they just want they just want clout off the next hot topic. They always forget and move on once it's been milked, which to be fair, I do think that's true, right? And obviously, you know, she says that she apologized directly to the artist. Again, you know, they say here that apparently, you know, that they've talked it out. I don't know if they've talked it out or she just sent an apology. I'm not sure either way, but if they have talked it out, that's even more reason to be like, okay, you know, whatever. If the artist is fine now, that's fine. But of course, yeah, because she says very true, appreciate you. And again, I do think there is a lot of merit in, you know, obviously taking accountability for what has happened, because, you know, it is very clear that what has happened beforehand wasn't great, right? It definitely does not look great at all. And I can understand, you know, why Kitsu has been getting a lot of backlash for it. But I do think at the same time, it is good to actually take accountability for this and say, actually, yeah, you know what, I messed up. You know, I'm changing my 1-star review to a 3-star review. And apparently it did get confirmed later on that it has actually changed now to a 3-star review. He said, I'm so sorry you're going through this, Kitsu. Sending a lot of love, saying, I'm making a speed paint of you soon, and if it's bad, you could just send me to hell because I can't survive and that won't survive anything. I think this is a good reminder to respect an artist's TOS. I read the artist's response, and they are very transparent with their services. A kind reminder that VGen can ban you for this behavior. That, as mentioned here, this is out of context. Here is the actual screenshot. Here's the other one saying, if you could please like, so this is like the addition on top of this, by the way. So apparently this was taken out of context, just to give you a little bit more. So this was posted here, and I think this was the message above, saying, if you could please like, comment, and share this post to help visibility, I'd be very grateful, because yes, this is a design I was venting about yesterday. I tried coming to a resolution with the artist, even offering a paid revision, but they declined to that. With their permission, I'm putting the design up for sale. Okay, so she's selling the design, which of course, you know, I think that's fair enough if she's not happy with it, right? And the artist actually allows them to sell it on. And obviously, yes, they're selling this outfit based on chocolate hibiscus cake. And then obviously, I think this message was below, just trying to explain why she wasn't using the outfit. So it seems like less so like she was venting in like the announcements channel, and more so explaining why she didn't want this model anymore. Because some people that might be buying like a model like this, I can understand that people might be like, wait, why did you sell it so quickly? Is there a problem with it? Like, is the artist weird or something? Like, because of course there is like, you know, it's weird to just kind of sell a model so quickly after just or a design, sorry, selling a design just so quickly after you know, receiving it, right? And obviously a lot of people would be like, is there something wrong with it? Is there something okay? And obviously that is kind of the TLDR explanation that she put there, which of course I think, you know, it's fair enough, right? I said, this is the vent I am referring to if anyone needed context. And then obviously, yeah, just giving extra context to it, which I do think kind of adds a little bit more understandability to it. They said the context doesn't change much. You gave an artist a 1-star review, tried to blame them for your mistakes of paying for a gacha art. Your vent isn't the problem. It's the 1-star review and how you reacted to people calling that out. I said, I don't know what you want from me. I acknowledged it was too harsh and sent a request to VGen to change it. My reaction to people was mostly blocking them because they were harassing me. I did not interact with anyone. I did not call anyone out. I did not make anything public for validation, or people dragged the review into it. In fact, I told people if they're going to spin this into drama, I would block them. Now begone. I can see you follow me, and I will take the liberty of blocking you and removing you from my community as you've interpreted this in the worst faith possible. And yeah, I do think there is like the sense of like, I think she understands that, you know, she messed up with the review and all of that kind of stuff. And I think that is what people are most angry about, as that person says there, is the fact that they're not angry about like the announcement or anything that she made talking about it. I think, yeah, the main thing that people are angry about is obviously the 1-star review on VGen, which obviously can have consequences for the artist itself, because of course 1-star reviews don't look very good. And of course it can hinder maybe some kind of, you know, kind of, I guess what, like people trying to hire them or whatever, or commission them to do some art, right? And yeah, I think that she obviously clearly has acknowledged that and said, you know, that was wrong, and managed to get it changed, right? And I think that is something that is, I think a lot of people are looking over. I think some people aren't really seeing that, like, okay, she realized that she messed up and she, you know, changed it. So again, I think that is all we could really ask for, right? I don't think anybody should really be, you know, trying to drag this out any longer than it should be, because, you know, she's changed the review, she's fixed the wrong that a lot of people are angry about. What else do you want her to do, right? And I think it does get a little bit ridiculous to that point. And obviously, yeah, people saying Twitter isn't really the place for this type of public venting when it's also part of your platform as a streamer. This sort of venting is what you do when you're a nobody account and can get away with it. Yeah, I mean, that's fair enough, right? Some people have been obviously going after her for other reasons as well, trying to make up stuff, which I definitely think is not the right thing to do either. Sure, if you want to, you know, say that you didn't like the fact that she left a 1-star review or whatever, I think that's fine, right? I think you can, you know, be unhappy that has happened, but I think that obviously trying to make up stuff about her, or trying to like claim that she's all of these different like labels and whatever, which I've seen happen quite a lot, I think it is, you know, it's not the best, right? And it just feels like you've gone from criticizing her for, you know, messing up to now just kind of just going after her, right? You're now just harassing her and attacking her for no reason, for completely, you know, for things that aren't even associated with this kind of situation, right? Which I think is definitely something that a lot of people have been discussing. So again, at the end of the day, I think that, you know, this has been resolved, right? I feel like there isn't really anything else that can, you know, really go any further. Of course, I think Yomi said that that's their final post on the matter. So hopefully there isn't any more posts. And the same with Kitsu, right, as well. I think it's just time to, you know, move on, because it seems like she has, you know, changed the review. You know, she's changed it to a 3-star review. She's talked to the actual artists themselves, gave them an apology, told them, you know, they're sorry. And that seems to be about it, right? And that's all you can do, right? That's all you can do. And I don't think anybody else can really pressure you into doing anything else. Now, of course, it does mean that there probably will be a lot of harassment and stuff coming her way due to this. And of course, I hope that she can handle that, you know, well, like, you know, obviously, I hope that nobody does try to do that, because, of course, I've seen already a lot of people in her replies and stuff still to this day, when, to be fair, I think this problem is resolved now, right? I feel like it is resolved, and a lot of people have been kind of going pretty crazy over it. But yeah, I mean, that is essentially all there is for this situation. If you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameSubs, use my code Kaza, get 10% off. Again, they got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. So yeah.